Good evening and welcome to SNARP News. I'm Chloe Kaler.
And I'm Ashton Wenzel.
Tonight we will be reporting on the announcement of all the presidential candidates.
The Republican candidate, Hugh Jackson, announced his platform weeks ago, but only recently did the rest of the candidates announce their running.
For the Democratic Party, we have Gaia Sorensen.
Jonah Wiseman for the Green Party, Holden Hayes for the Libertarian Party, and Dan Connors for his own party, the Choice Party. And now we'll cut to Chloe's interview with Dan Connors and his running mate, Malinda Rogers.
This is Chloe Kaler with SNARP News, interviewing Dan Connors and Malinda Rogers. So Dan, I hear you're running for President of the United States.
Yes, I am. I am running under an independent party known as the Choice Party. The Choice Party believes that socially, everybody deserves the freedom to choose what they want to do, what they believe, and in turn, we guarantee these social freedoms as well as strongly regulate the economy so that economic factors do not prevent them from this choice.
What are the fundamental beliefs that you hold?
We are pro-choice. Guns are not needed. Not only should there be stronger regulation, but the Second Amendment should be nullified and that gun should be banned. There should be greater protections for the LGBT community. There should be greater protections for women. Drugs should be decriminalized, and instead the government should provide rehab centers. And economically, the government finds ways to make sure that every student gets a free education and has a job waiting for them at the end.
How do you plan to acquire the vote from people who will strongly disagree with some of your very radical opinions, particularly referencing the nullification of the Second Amendment?
The answer is quite simply morality. Every single day on the news, time and time again, people are getting shot, lives are being wasted, when we should be unified, we should be one country, we should be together, we should be able to follow our dreams, not be shooting each other over racism and hatred. It's the right thing to do that we get rid of guns. People having weapons in which neighbor kills neighbor, that's just wrong.
And now we have Ms. Rogers here with us. I believe it is rumored that Ms. Rogers will be running with you as your vice president.
It is now confirmed.
That's great. You heard it here first, folks. Ms. Rogers, why are you looking to run with Mr. Connors?
Well, as Mr. Connors originally proposed, the Choice Party is a party that really embraces moralities in people. And the premise of our party is something that really attracts my moralities. I agree with the platform, and so I will be helping my fellow candidate here, convincing others in agreeing with our platform and embracing their morality.
And Mr. Connors, why did you choose Ms. Rogers?
She was most qualified for the job. She is one of my strongest supporters. She can be very persuasive in her arguments and is one of the most liberal people I know with some of the strongest support.
Back to your more political beliefs, and particularly your stance on the economy. How far do you plan on going to regulate the individual person's economic standing?
Well, for one, I plan on expanding Social Security and welfare programs. I plan on fewer tax breaks for the upper class and more for the lower. I also plan on partial government ownership of all large corporations in order to fund these government projects and allow for these lower taxes, which in turn these funds will be able to pay for college education for the future generation to come, as well as this partial government ownership allowing the government to offer people jobs once they get out of universities.
It was stated that you follow some of the same beliefs as that of communism. How do you agree and disagree?
The thing about communism is that it tends to be very authoritarian. We are not trying to get in the way of people's religious rights. We're not trying to get in the way of their day-to-day lives. We're just trying to allow them to have freedom of choice. We are protecting them economically but not necessarily holding them to an equivalent standard with each other. Each man is still measured by their own work, but that is a concept in capitalism as well.
Do you view yourself as progressive?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We're a hyper-liberal party, so progressive indeed.
Right. And if you were to get the nomination, what would be your first act as President of the United States?
To nullify the Second Amendment, ban firearms, including usage by all police forces except for special units, and require all police officers to wear body cams.
Well, great. Thank you. That is all the time we have today. Thank you so much for coming in.
So Chloe, how do you feel that interview went?
I think it went pretty well. I mean, Dan is very liberal in a lot of his beliefs, and I definitely agree with a lot of his platforms. However, I'm a little bit concerned on his chances of getting elected just based on how liberal he really is. That's it for tonight, folks. Have a great night and keep watching SNARP News.